Hi everyone, and my name is Nikki. Welcome back to this channel of crafting, crochet and knitting in particular. I will eventually show you guys some other crafty pieces that I've been working on, but at the moment we're definitely focusing on yarn crafts. How are you guys doing? I have an apology to make because I've been asking you guys to put your photos of your makes in the comments down below, and only just found out when someone attempted to do that you can't put your photos in the comments on YouTube. So I'd love to see your makes still, so put a link to your photos on whatever social media platform you are using to share your work. Put a link to that in the comments down below. I'd love to see what you're up to. So I've been working on the Christmas socks. So for those of you who are new or haven't seen the videos before, I'm making a pair of socks for all of our family members for Christmas. And we're near the end now, okay, like we're getting there. So yeah, I showed you guys these ones I think last time and they were about halfway done. This is the Opal Jazz Songbook colour. I originally picked this out for my dad, but it turned out to be a lot lighter in person than it was on the website, so I figured it would go better for my granddad. And they're finished to his size. I did, however, discover a problem whilst I was making these. Not with this sock in particular. These were actually nicer to work with. So I said in a previous video that the Opal Safari wasn't so great to work with compared to the West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. But this Opal Jazz is a lot nicer to work with, so that was fine. But I was working this in a tighter gauge, so I could really feel that I was working this tighter than the previous pair I made, which was my grandma's English Rose West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. And I was chatting to the person who got me interested in sock knitting, and she was saying about making sure you don't do it too loose, and I showed her a picture and she could see from the picture that it was too loose. I don't know how well you guys can see it from here, but you can see the light through the stitches quite easily, and the person from work, she told me that that was not really a good thing, because if you knit a sock too loosely then you wear through it faster, which is not really ideal for a gift. So this happened to the other sock. Yeah, I've decided that I'm going to frog it back and rework them up. So I'd already wrapped them. The wrapping paper is going to be a little bit untidy, but I think my grandma would rather have a messy wrapping paper with socks that are not going to wear instead of having untidy socks. So yeah, so this, what was good to know is that the weaving in of the ends and the Kitchener stitch that I used to do the toes is a really secure stitch, because it took me about as long to unpick the weaved in ends and the Kitchener stitch as it did to actually frog back the rest of the sock. This took days. These took days to make and minutes to unwind. But yes, that's one. I'm going to do the other one and cast them on in a bit. But before I can cast those on, I just need to finish up this pair. This is the it's Opal Regenwald, and it's what I went with for my dad in the end. And the only thing I've got left to do is to Kitchener stitch up the toes and weave in the ends, so that's good. And then I can cast my grandma's back on to remake hers. This is a really long colour change, so the colour change actually goes like right the way down to the heel, and then pretty much the rest of the foot is the other colour change, just a little bit left for the toes. So when I was winding this ball, finding the colour change so that I could stripe the socks was really difficult. So if you haven't seen in previous videos, I take 100 gram balls and I rewind them into 250 gram balls so that I can knit the socks together, and if there is a striping involved, I will make sure that when I do that I get as close to 50 grams as possible without breaking the colour change. So I will try and find matching ends to start with. And that was particularly important for my dad because so you can see they're lined up quite well. I'm very particular about making sure that self-striping yarns are lined up properly, and I get this from my dad, so it's even more important to make sure that my dad's pair are striped up properly. I did this with my mum's pair as well, because I just knew that if my dad saw either my mum's or his pair not lined up properly, he would say something. He would appreciate that hours of work had gone into it, but he would have been like, well, you could have lined it up properly. I don't blame him, because I would be the same. But yeah, so I have lined them up properly for him, and like I say, I just need to take them, just need to sort those out, take them off the needles. So that is those done. And then once I have remade up my grandma's, I can work on the last pair. Last pair in this absolutely gorgeous autumn colourway here. There's lovely rustic red. I'm so excited to see how this pair works up. It should be something like this. Also really excited to work with this because it's actually a different blend to the previous sock yarns I've used. So I said about how all of the sock yarns that I have been a 75%, 25% wool nylon split. And that is because of cozy wool and sturdy nylon, except for the baby socks that I made, which was 100% cotton. Because I figured it would be better to wash them at a high temperature for a baby than it needing to be particularly hard wearing. And then, so this is actually 38% wool, 32% nylon, and 30% cotton. So there's actually some cotton in this. So it's really soft. You can feel that effect. I've never really been like particularly like really looking at what wool blends I have, or what yarn blends I have. I've just kind of gone with acrylic because it's been the cheapest one for me to be able to afford as a student. So being like able to think, well, this is a gift, so I can splurge a bit more on gifts. I have been able to play around with these different blends, and it's been really exciting. And this is definitely the softest of the pairs I've been working with. So yeah, it's really interesting for me to be able to notice that. So I'm really excited to make this pair up. And then that would be the last of the socks that I need to make for my family. So I will be able to arrange to drop those off. Obviously can't visit right now, but I'll be able to arrange to drop those off soon. The other thing actually that we made for family, so I have a sister-in-law, and we figured though that she would probably not really be into a pair of homemade socks. So instead we looked for a really nice scarf or cowl instead that would be sort of really stylish, that she would like. And we found this really lovely neutral Aran yarn with these flecks of darker grey and black and brown. Yeah, it's a nice soft yarn. And we made this keyhole scarf, or I made this keyhole scarf. My husband picked out the picture and I made it. So a keyhole scarf, you thread it through. You thread one end through the other end of the scarf. It's really stretchy and sort of pulls together nicely because of the rib stitch, and it's also really thick because of the rib stitch, so it's a really nice warm scarf to have. And so we're hoping that she'll like that. I'm not a massive fan of rib stitch, but actually the Aran yarn being thicker and the needles being bigger, it wasn't as bad as doing the rib stitch socks on really tiny needles. So that's her present instead of socks. Okay, so not got too much longer in this video, but I did want to show you guys what I had planned for after the Christmas Sock-a-thon. So besides my usual projects of blankets and toys, I've got a few things lined up, such as the biggest thing is the Christmas socks for me and my husband. So I picked out this West Yorkshire Spinners, I think this is Holly Berry, really lovely, and it's going to be a self-striping yarn. And I figured, after I'd already bought this, unfortunately, that if I had some red and some green, I could probably make matching pairs rather than just one pair. So in the most recent order that I got, I did pick out two different yarns. So I picked out a red and a green, just from just 50 gram balls. Just to top up the colours. I'm thinking probably like doing the cuffs and the heel and the toes in the red and the green, and then the rest of the foot in the Holly Berry. So that is what I'm hoping I'll be able to finish before Christmas so that me and my husband can actually wear them. So that's going to be my project for after I've given our families their socks. But I did go a little bit splurgy on some sock yarn because I previously bought this lovely purple and blue yarn. Where's the sock? No. So you can see that's going to make a really lovely sock. But then I realised it's not going to actually go with anything in my wardrobe. I did the same thing of like, oh look, pretty yarn, and didn't think about actually wearing it because this is going to be a sock. I have to think practical. So I'm still going to make them, I'm still going to wear them, but they're not super high on the list of priorities at the moment. So this is probably going to be a New Year project now. And instead, I picked out some yarn that is going to go with stuff in my wardrobe. So one of the first things I got was a burgundy. So this is a little bit more of a purpley pinky burgundy than it looks on the camera. It looks quite red on the camera, but it is a little bit more pinky. But you can see that it matches up to my hoodie. It matches up to several hoodies and a few shirts that I have in my wardrobe. But I didn't want to do it just in one colour. So I picked out this lighter shade, which looks a lot brighter on camera than it is in real life too. So this is kind of basically just a lighter version of this. It's kind of a deepy pink colour that is, it's not bright, it's kind of, I sort of say like you've got light and you've got dark, but then you've got dull and you've got bright. So it's a dull pink that is sort of deep. It's not a light pink obviously either, so it's not light, it's not bright, but obviously it's not as dark as this burgundy. And I figured that what I'll do with these is make my own stripes in a sock. So this will be the first time of me attempting to change colours in the socks, because previously I've used self-striping or variegated yarn. So yeah, this is my, it's not a big challenge, but this is my challenge to change colours in socks. And that will go with so much in my wardrobe. The other ones I got were this orange colour, which you can see I got with this shirt in particular in mind. And again, this is not a variegated yarn, so what I want to do with this is to try making texture in socks. So my challenge is to do something like a cable, or probably not lace, because I've got some other yarn in mind to make lacy socks out of, but some sort of bumps or pattern in the sock using different stitches. That's my challenge with this pair. And then my final pair, I really got this with like one or two things in mind in my wardrobe, but it's one or two shirts that really don't go with very much else. Just kind of with black trousers or something. So I kind of did want to make something that matched the shirt. So the shirt is just in the background here. It's this emerald leopard print shirt, and I got this emerald yarn to match it. And I think you can kind of just about see on camera how well it matches in real life. It's so perfect. I love it. And this does have slight different colours in it, so I'm really looking forward to working these up to go with that shirt. And I don't need to worry about texturing or too much with these. I can just do whatever. So yeah, I'm really excited to do all those socks, but they are definitely going to be New Year's projects. The Christmas socks are my priority, and then I'll be doing those in the new year. So that's what you can look forward to seeing on this channel, my attempts to knit, socks that have more structure and more texture to them. So we'll see how that goes. But this is quite a long video, so I'm going to wrap it up there. I can't wait to chat to you guys again. It's been a really busy few weeks for me. So making these videos is really, even though making videos can be really annoying when you have to take multiple takes of the video, it's my relaxing thing to talk about crafts and to do crafts. So I'm really enjoying having a moment to sit down and make this video for you guys. So I can't wait for the next one. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoy the next videos I've got planned for you guys, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.